It's Dr. Wilcox Wednesday. Good morning. Thursday, whatever. It's one of those days.
One of those days that ends with Y.
Hump day, yes. Back from vacation, feeling pretty good.
Yeah, it was nice.
Had a good time.
Charge the batteries.
It helps every once in a while. Normally, if I'm gone a week, by Wednesday, I'm ready to come back to work.
Yeah, well, we had a great time and happy to be back here on the radio talking to people.
Now, I got a question for you. I had an interview yesterday, a book called Super Gut. And the doctor believes that we are really destroying the microbes.
Microbiome.
Microbiome, that's it, in our gut. And I said, you need to talk to our eye doctor that comes in and talks to us. He said, microbiomes, it affects the whole body. It affects the eyes, affects the brain. And I said, I got to tell Dr. Wilcox about this.
Well, that's kind of old news, but it's true. We have of our 12 cranial nerves, the longest one is the vagus nerve. When you get an ice cream headache, it's because it's...
Brain freeze?
Brain freeze. It's because you're chilling the nerve that goes down to your gut. And we are actually a bunch of human cells that are supporting all the microbes in our body. We have trillions and trillions of bugs in our body that we must have, and if you don't treat them right, you don't feed them, then you're going to have problems. And a lot of our health problems are self-induced because of things we knowingly and unknowingly do to upset this symbiotic relationship we have with all the things in our body. So that's it. There's studies that show I don't know the numbers for sure on the top of my head, but let's say it's 3,000 bugs in a healthy person's gut down to 700 species in the autistic child, for instance. And it just starts dropping and dropping and dropping. So we need a plethora of different things in our body that work together. And they help each other out. It's they're working together. I'm talking about mushrooms today.
Yeah, you scared me. He came in with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 samples, 7 samples of mushrooms. I wouldn't touch any of them.
So this morning,
how do you know what's good?
I was at Ferry Lumber up the road in Ferry Mill Road. And after I purchased what I needed, I asked, hey, guys, can I go in the woods? I'm talking on the radio here in about 30 minutes. And I just selected a bunch of different mushrooms. One of them on the floor there, there's that huge polypore.
Thing, yeah.
It's on the side of a pine tree. I had to go get a piece of rebar that was 20 foot long to knock it off. But
is it edible?
That one has a medicinal quality to it, and it's similar to what's called the Philenius robinae, which grows in the black locust tree, and which has qualities to them that are beneficial. Their mushrooms are every mushroom is edible, but some mushrooms are only edible once. You've heard me say that before. So you must be so careful if you're a forager to go out with intelligent mycologists who know what they're doing. And HAAS or HASS, Haas mushrooms up in Richmond. If somebody's interested, he has classes I know of, but there are others. But on your table there, you have an oyster mushroom, which I go get in the woods. I know what they look like with their characteristic
I'm guessing it's
morphology. No, it's a small one, right in front of you. Yep, that little guy. That's all I found. Okay. But you can find a trash can full of them at the right time of the year, and that is an edible mushroom. There are some other species.
Do you ever just pick it and eat it?
That I know what that one looks like, and I have like a dozen that I know for sure what they are, and I don't venture past that. The 13th mushroom that's going to be in my repertoire is going to be the one that I
can only eat once.
Well, no. It's going to be with somebody who I can now confidently identify that mushroom. It's a fun thing to do. Now, I do take mushrooms every day. In front of you are 3 different bottles of mushrooms I purchase, and we actually have them at the office because they're so important to me for eyes and neurons. That there's a turkey tail, there's lion's mane, and then there's a 5 defenders, which has a mix of different mushrooms there. these mushrooms have things called beta glucans, these proteins in there, and they have terpenoids. And these things are beneficial to the body in numerous different ways, depending upon what type of beta glucans are in there and what the different chemistry of these different active ingredients.
Now, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
And this is the doubting Thomas question.
Go right ahead.
None of these 3 types of mushrooms that are on the counter here, I'm taking it that none of those come out with an FDA approval or anything.
Oh, no.
How do you know that stuff is in there and that it's legit?
Well, why would you see? Isn't it nuts? You're sitting here asking about something that you're afraid of, but you don't ask the same question of everything in the hallway at the Rite Aid or at the Walmart or behind the
If I'm not buying it, I don't care.
That's fine. But the answer is yes, and then this is a good point, because there's two ways that mushrooms are produced and given to people. You have the mycelium, which is the roots, and then you have the fruiting body, the mushroom you see.
Yeah.
You don't eat the apple tree roots, you eat the apple, right? So there's 2 different arguments out there about, hey, let's go grow this mushroom in a substrate of oats or rice or sorghum and things, and then blend up all that starches that aren't found in the mushrooms, and you're selling that. Or go sell the fruiting body and without all the substrate that it's grown in. And so I like that latter. There are these 2 big giants out there, Paul Stamets and there's Jeff Chilton. And if people want to go to a website, NAM, North America, MEX, Mexico, I don't know what it means. But, and you'll find out what Jeff Chilton has to say. And Paul Stamets is a brilliant researcher who does scads of phenomenal work with mushrooms. Bottom line is, I source these because they're fruiting bodies, and the patients I'll recommend these to, or anybody, because I take this stuff every day. It helps your immune system. With COVID, there are antiviral qualities with some of these mushrooms, and we're trying to fight off viruses. And reishi helps with your liver. So if you have a liver disease of any sort, GI problems with some of these mushrooms, cordyceps is going to help with coming out of an illness and altitude sickness. But I source mine from this company called Real Mushrooms, because I do. And so multiple sclerosis is benefited with certain mushrooms because they have brain-derived neurotrophic factor. They have qualities that help your myelin of your nerve repopulate itself. And you just have to believe in this stuff, do a little research. Though I go foraging in the woods for certain things, especially lion's mane, which is the best tasting mushroom out there.
It's one of my favorites.
I purchase these things because someone else does all the hard work. And I take a gram or 2, depending upon which one it is. Turkey tail helps with your immune system. There's some turkey tail over there I just found in the woods. Turkey tail's everywhere. Reishi is supposed to be very difficult to find. I happen to know where there's a lot of reishi, and you can dry it out and do things to make powders. Mushrooms have a lot of water in them, and when you're working with them, you got to be cognizant of the managing.
But all the ones you forage to eat.
Yeah, that's what foraging is for. I picked a number of things here. I don't know what they are, but they're mushrooms, and I'm not going to touch them. I showed them to you because within 10 minutes out in the woods, in local woods, I found all those mushrooms. 10, 15 minutes, that was it. And 2 of them I know I can eat.
Okay.
So yesterday I had 3 different mushroom conversations in the office. And
just out of the blue?
Oh, well, it's fate. I'm on the radio, and I make up this talk usually the day before in the ride in because I got a big, bunch of stuff I can talk about. So I brought in these books, and I ran out in the woods, and I have notes, and that I'll put together and share with you. there are antioxidant qualities to some mushrooms, and similar to glutathione, which helps our ATP. They're the key words. The mycelium is the root, and then the fruiting body.
Do these things help you at the time of eating? Do they stay in your system long? And why would eating a mushroom be better than taking a medicine?
Well, a lot of your medicines are made from mushrooms.
Okay.
And especially in the in multiple sclerosis, these beta glucans. If you there's beta seron, and there's one of the gelinia, I believe, actually has a mushroom base to it in the pharmacology of it. All the drug companies around in the rainforest around the world grabbing plants and trying to figure out what the active ingredients are in these plants in order to synthetically make them to make their medicines. It's 74% of all medicines come out of the woods initially, and some high number like that. Don't quote me there, but that kind of rings in my head. They have antiviral qualities, antifungal, antibacterial, and taken properly, teas, eaten, you have to cook them, and every mushroom has to be cooked. When you go to the grocery store, you usually see, the same three. You see a button cap,
right,
a portobello, and maybe a shiitake and a maitake, and they're friendly edible mushrooms. And then there's some less common ones. The lion's mane mushroom, phenomenal mushroom, tastes fantastic, grows on the sides of trees, and you'll see me walking around the woods looking up all the time. I found that big guy on the side of the woods, and whenever I'm in the fall, October, I'm always looking in the woods, and I pull over on the side of the parkway and sneaked out there. It's got a big lion's mane mushroom.
Man.
I'm at the grocery store in Williamsburg, and I drove around the back, and there's a lion's mane on the side of a tree. So I hopped out, got a stick, and they're fantastic. You slice them up like little steaks and cook them up and get them tawny brown. That and butter. It's fantastic. Turkey tail. Drug-like qualities to them and help the immune system. These beta glucans are the secret sauce in these mushrooms, and they have all their values in the human body and healing. Chaga is another one that you can use with making teas, and it helps with irritable bowel syndromes. So cordyceps, originally it's found on caterpillar casings, and a kilo is like $2,000 to get this stuff. So what they do is they figure out how to propagate them not on insects, and chaga helps with people who are recovering from illnesses or people in altitude sickness. They're found in mountaintop areas.
Now, how does all this blend in with vision?
Well, your vision is one, you have nerves, and we want to have a good immune system to fight things off. So you want to have, you don't want viruses, you don't want bacteria, you don't want fungi, the negative forms. And so glaucoma, nerve disease. Ischemic optic neuropathy, nerve disease. And so it's a blitzkrieg. Health is a blitzkrieg. You've got to breathe, you've got to exercise, you've got to sleep. You can't say, today I'm going to go take something to help my immune system. You have to constantly be putting these things in small doses in your body to enliven your immune system, to wake it up, to encourage it to be there to fight off the other creatures that come into your body.
To show you how crazy Doc is about mushrooms, his employees gave him a cup that is just mushrooms.
Yeah.
I can't even pronounce half of them. Horse mushroom, St. George's, fairy ring, parasol, Rhydon repandum, fly argyle. I hope that takes care of flies.
The value of this conversation is to enlighten people that we sadly eat the same 5 things all the time. You go in and I eat broccoli, I eat this, and I eat that.
Yeah.
And when in fact there's Asia, Europe are so far ahead of us, we will eat 2 or 3 mushrooms in America as a rule, and they're eating 24 to 30 different mushrooms and as a rule and throughout their year. And when they're available and fruiting and we need to do those things. We need to broaden our horizons to know that our bodies evolved on this rock over hundreds of thousands of years, and they're wise people. The psychedelic mushrooms, there's a purpose for that. It helps with addictions. It helps with some of the people who have spiritual desires to open up their mind to other things. There's a place for all these things in the proper order with the proper safety features, and the conversation can go on and on and on. Paul Stamets, Staments, Jeff Chilton, YouTube, listen, learn carefully. I'm not encouraging one person to go foraging on their own. I'm encouraging
You don't
people,
know what you're doing. No.
No, I'm not encouraging one person to go foraging on their own. I'm encouraging people to go get an education, properly educate, and in broaden your horizons. Enjoy walking in the woods. My dog goes with me all the time.
Okay.
We have a good dirty old time in the woods, running around and finding these things.
You're picking out mushrooms before your dog goes by, correct? just want to make sure about that.
So, yeah. So, what else would you like to know, Mr. Neal?
I am amazed. Will tell you straight up, I am not a mushroom eater.
Okay.
And so to hear this, and you've been coming in here now for I don't know how long, and this is the first time we've really talked about mushrooms. Is this something you actively talk about with patients?
I carry them in my office. I recommend them routinely to people, especially people who have nerve eye diseases and they need to improve their immune system because it's a tool. And I'm an eye doctor, right? And I do normal eye doctor stuff.
Right.
You want glasses, contacts, and all that stuff. But I live outside the box. And because if everything worked that was inside the box, no one would get sick and die and go blind, right?
Right.
But since people do, then you got to go figure something else out. And it's not that one thing's a panacea. There's not one thing that is the cure-all. But if you as a person can do something that's going to help you another 1%, 2%, 3%, then that's 1%, 2%, 3% in your favor.
Right.
And so we are a tapestry. We are all different genetically. We have risk factors that are greater or lesser for one person or another just because you have a gene that doesn't express itself properly, and so you're more likely to suffer from that condition, from the lack of having these beta glucans, terpenes in your body, or the omission of it, or the need to have more of them because you're more sensitive, because you're genetically sensitive to those things, if I said that properly. So
yes.
So we are the healthiest people on this rock, on this earth, are poor people who live at the base of mountains. I've said that many times before. Poor means you're not eating every day a big old, fast food meal. And base of mountains meaning that you're getting your minerals and your foods that are grown with good organic soil and without all the Roundup and all the other junk that's out there. So you try to emulate that as best you can, and you learn some stuff. Instead of playing one more game of some stupid video game, you put a little smart stuff in your head and you execute those things, and you'll find out that you're better. Those old.
I think it's amazing. Tell everybody where you're located.
I'm at Tyndall Square in Hayes, just north of the Coleman
Going
Bridge.
towards the tunnel. It is on the right-hand side. There are a number of brick buildings there. Nice little spot. A lot of parking.
Mm-hmm. And been playing eye doctor for over 30 years. No one's ever sat in my chair and said, I'm glad I'm half blind. So it's my job to go. I make it my job to, in addition to all the other normal stuff we do, to give ideas and options for people to try other things to improve their chances of success.
That is not done in it's whether you want to or not. It's
Right.
Do you want to go on with the information? Look, I can maybe help you this way, but if you want glasses, we're ready.
Right. And so I'm running a business as well, and I've got to cut short the people who are window shoppers versus the people who believe in or buying in. And there's a lot of people out there who are looking for, quote, me and people like me.
Yeah.
And they're coming from greater and greater distances all the time.
Are they really?
Oh, I get people in from an hour and a half away every day, or so it seems, and along with all the locals. And I communicate electronically with a guy down in Florida right now with diabetic retinopathy and some woman in Arizona with some other thing going on. And we're going to be doing this study. It's getting closer with using bioelectric signaling and frequencies to help macular degeneration. And it's a significant study that we hope that it's going to roll out improvements for those conditions which are currently don't have cures, and or just negative futures. And the use of these frequencies and signals that have been proven beneficial throughout the whole body are going to be